What up, y'all? Welcome to Blake's Take Two. We're gonna get into one of my favorite times of the year here, which is Grammy season. Trey, one of the things I did want to start on here is because I know you are not the biggest fan of Grammy season,
Never paid attention. Not maybe once in my life.
and I'm gonna
When
preface
Kendrick
this.
popped off, that was it. That was literally the only time I ever like even watched it. I feel like it's like when Kendrick first like came onto the scene and he was like nominated and lost. And I was like, all right, I don't care anymore.
And I
Like I
understand that
literally
because
don't.
I'm somewhere in the middle. Sometimes in these, I get thrown to this opposite side, like I'm this like Grammy defender, and I'm not. Like I understand that. I will never forget. I'm pretty sure we watched in the old house when Macklemore won that Grammy over Kendrick, and that for a lot of people, that was a breaking point for sure in the hip hop world. That was the unacceptable moment that everybody went, no, this just. So I get it and I feel the same way, and I think everybody in the hip hop community kind of does. But at the same time, while one, I think there are ways that, and we can get into this on another podcast, but like I think there are ways that hip hop and just Black culture in general can kind of supersede and get around the Grammys and honor and acknowledge people like it wants to in its own terms. But, and here's the but, is the Grammys, they're always going to matter. They're always going to be relevant. They're the equivalent. They're the only thing in music that we can use as like rings. It's the same thing. It's the one thing that when we go to compare across, and I know not everybody cares about comparison, yada, but when we look in terms of legacy and how you measure greatness, it's just one of the few ways we can use as a common measurement in music. It just is. I know we have these conversations about like, do they matter? And I think because it's the one common measurement we have and the one like across time and of this high prestigious nature thing we have in music, it's like a ring, it's like a chip, it's that type of thing.
But the
And
thing,
you have
yeah,
these other ways of record, but the Grammys is for better or worse, it just will always be. It's like an Oscar. We can have the other things, but at the end of the day, it means something. It does. And
but
the
the
and
difference.
at the end of the day, not it might not mean something to you, but to artists as a whole, it it does. Like there's something to I deserve a Grammy. Like if you feel like you deserve a Grammy and then don't get it, there's a reason it hurts. There's a reason people boycott it, and there's a reason. It's because they feel like they deserve to be acknowledged at the highest level in music. And that's what the Grammys are. So
It
now,
is,
is it hostage right now? Is it held hostage by a bunch of old white people? Absolutely.
but it's always been that.
Yeah. Now,
It's
is
literally
it
since the
changing?
beginning.
Yes. Is it changing? Yes. Which is beautiful. Like I paid attention to it for a long time, and we've come a long way from, especially like performance wise, especially like televised awards wise, like what they'll allow in terms of political statements. It has come in the maybe, let's say, decade I've been actively watching the Grammys. It's come a long ass way for sure, and it's because of the combination of the artists themselves and like the pressure from the outside in the social media and shit age has actually done something, and it's building momentum. I think now that, especially with performances, I think that's the place where, like, to me, the Grammys 2021 Grammys, where hip hop ran that shit. And to me, there's been other years like that, but this was different because of the format and because of just the timing, because of more eyes probably than ever on the Grammys because people ain't got shit else to do. Uh, just even if not like the night of the Grammys, just in general for like who wins them. Now you got hella time to go stream. People are gonna stream what wins Grammys most likely. Like at the end of it, so it was cool to see hip hop like at the forefront. Like WAP was performed at the motherfucking
Well, of course
Grammy.
it was. It was one of the most popular songs
But
in
that,
music.
but in a,
It
that's
came
not
out
an of
this
course.
year.
Like that is, but that would not have
It
been an of
wasn't one of the
course.
most popular songs that came out this year. Of course, it was going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
Of
but
course.
this I'm saying in terms of what is normally what's the norm at the
But
Grammys.
listen, things like the normalities are changing, right? Hip hop is at its
Exactly.
forefront. It is the most popular genre in music across the board. It just is now, and that's why it's at the forefront of the Grammys, because they can't ignore it. You know,
Mm-hmm. I think
like like Taylor Swift, that type of shit. Like people ain't really listening to that no more. You know, before
they're
that
still
it was,
listening, but I think it's a
it's
combination. I
just
think
not
that
as
plays a part.
popular. Like hip hop is the most popular music now, and it can't be ignored. It is what it is.
No,
So
absolutely.
it
And
has
even
to it has to take that platform.
no, for sure. But I like it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like with the political stuff. I think it's a combination. Like that has given it, it's like a good pass. Like that's given it the platform to now if people demand, hey, we want to use, a hip hop performance to say this, to do this, to be this explicit.
Well,
Now,
let's get into that, right? So, what do you think? Well, let's talk about Lil Baby's performance. It was political, right? Well, let's
mhm,
talk about that. What do you think? What good came of that performance in your light? And then I'll give my opinion.
what good came of it?
Yeah, what good can come of it?
I think having things like that on a Grammy stage is you need people to be uncomfortable. That's the Grammys are a place where there are Taylor Swift fans and there are Harry Styles fans and there are whatever all the cults assemble. And not only the cults, but like the people, my mom watches the Grammys, old people watch a lot of people that wouldn't necessarily, that might not stream, that might not do all that, watch the Grammys. So it's a platform to communicate to a lot of people that like that Lil Baby, for instance, is not normally having an ear for. So I think like knowing, because that's what the Grammys are, just a big ass platform. So I think I don't want to say allowing because it shouldn't be something that's like it should have always been something that an artist should be able to make a statement with their shit. But something that's looked at as controversial, like Lil Baby's directly, calling out police on a stage like that, I think is important because it's the same reason that people that don't hear that there's police brutality need to hear it. Like I think some people seeing, I don't know how much of the performance, I know you didn't see like the entire thing. I know you've heard some things from the Grammys. I'm gonna probably break half this to you, but like part of the opening of it showed like a black dude getting pulled out the car and
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
So like
I'm gonna
it was
stop you there.
pretty in your face
Jarring, right?
for the Grammys, especially.
And I have an issue with it. I don't need to see like the dramatization of black man being killed on stage during the performance. I just don't need to see that personally. Like
I
that shit
understand that.
is too much, bro.
I
Like
think a
it's
lot of people probably felt the same
especially
way.
in today's age where like you can just scroll through a social media feed and see it in real life, right? And that's I don't like seeing that either. Like today you
Yeah,
can like literally just flip through shit and see somebody just getting fucking shot like real in real life, and then to see that during I don't need to see that, bro. Like it's just
and that's I think the point is
I don't see
I
any.
I don't either. Like I've come to a point, I think I had a point where like as an empath, you think like, oh, this happened to somebody, so I need to see it. Like I think that's for the people that like watch things that aren't watching it out of like I like that aren't that weird type. I think there's like a dissonance where you're like, oh, I feel the need to see this and feel this because it could be me type of thing. But you can't keep doing it. It's not like once you accept that it's a thing and if you understand it, there's no good to come from consistently consuming that. I don't think it's
No,
healthy.
not at all.
And
And I
social media definitely that's so I understand and agree with that. But I think what I just said is part of like I think a select part of the audience did need to see something like that to go, oh shit.
I don't.
I think there's a solid portion of
I
audience
disagree.
for something like that that might have seen that for the first that isn't watching a Fruitvale station like we have and feeling that too,
I feel
and
like you
isn't
don't need it.
watching.
You don't need it in art necessarily though.
No,
You
but I'm
see
saying
it
they haven't
plenty in the
taken it
news.
in. Like they haven't even touched those things and had that point where they have to look in and go, oh shit, that happened to somebody. Like this might be their first time. So that's why I think and I'm guessing because I would assume Lil Baby like orchestrated that entire thing is that was his point too, is like somebody isn't gonna think that this happens this blatantly. And I think his point was just kind of showing what had happened because his more of anything, his performance was a summary of the last whole year. Because like you showed that was like a, you know, a 5-second portion of it. Then it was the immediate, you know, how the police acted at the scene of the crime, how the protesters showed up, how the aggression built, how the police like it was, I thought, like a really good, especially for like the shit we've been through and having actually been up close to some of it, like a great just culmination of the last year. That's what it felt like, was like a front line. This is what our last year has looked like. And that's what like the bigger pictures of the song he did with this performance. And that's what it kind of felt like he was doing to me, was, all right, this is, you know, a documentary. Like, here's February 2020. And this is, you know, what set everything off. And this is what ensued. I didn't think it was like, oh, here's, because one of the, like the building, I don't know if you saw, the building that got burned in there was like a direct reference to one of the gas stations that got set on fire. So I think it was more supposed to be like, this is what happened. So I understand though, like what you're saying, because I feel the same way at this point, especially with this shit. Like, like Fruitvale Station is just a good, like, that's not a movie where I'll ever even watch that fucking shit again, probably. And if I do, definitely not that scene. Like, it's just not something, period, that once you know. But I think the point, if you asked him, would be like, that's what the feeling that a lot of people felt that point when they first saw those things is what he's trying to, because at the Grammys, that's not even, you know, with Kendrick performances, like that was jarring for the Grammys. That was, before he even started rapping, I was like, oh.
My thing is, like, if you want to go that route, make it more, you know, against the establishment. Don't make it like about a black man dying and like trying to showcase this. If you want to go that route and say fuck the system and fuck this, fuck that, go to NWA, go to, you know, Rage Against the Machine route, where it's just like fuck the establishment, this is what we're gonna do. Not like making it this, you know, dramatization of someone, especially like a black man dying, like, and it's like that's at its forefront. That's what people are gonna remember. Like, make it more like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck the police, like, you know, I'm raging, you know, like raging.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of the stuff after that did though. I thought it was could he have maybe pivoted it a different way? Could it, like, yes, but I think part of the reason all the other shit hit like it did, like part of the reason when he showed the protests and then had like, he had that spoken word piece that like broke it up in the middle, that was like called out Biden straight up, that said like, President Biden, we demand a bunch of like, so it was, I think, setting like the emotion. I think it was trying to show like, this is why there's this level of emotion. And I get why it's not like something, especially when there's, like you mentioned before, with other like movies and just the constant stream of like, we get it. Like, black people have been through shit. We get it. And I think that's why at the Grammys are a place where it's almost like you're getting to force people to see some shit. It's one of the few places where the people that you need and want and maybe can get through to understanding certain shit, you can force shit to them here. So that's why I thought like that was to me the best performance in terms of just like, especially like I said, like having been through what we've been through in the last year, like I watched that and felt like he was there with us. Like, he was on the front lines of a lot of these protests. He was out there in Atlanta and shit, and obviously has like a separate pain that comes from all that. And so I think it was again like an observation. Like, I think that was what he saw in the last year. That was, and that even the way he was wrapping around the set of it, like he was actually present in what was going on. That's what it kind of felt like to me, was this is just what my eyes have seen, kind of thing. And I definitely thought it was jarring, but I thought I didn't necessarily love feeling like I saw, but at the end of the day, I was like, all right, but somebody might have needed to see that shit. Cause
I disagree. Cause I feel like you've seen it before in real life. You've seen the actual, you know, camera phone footage from somebody, and you've seen it on the news. You've seen it on Facebook or Twitter or IG. You've seen that before. You don't need to see it during.
You think the people in the bubbles even
during a protest, you know, dramatization protest performance? Like, you don't need to see that. You said what?
You don't think some of the bubble people that are in some of these bubble ends of like, especially with social media being able to contain it. Like, I feel like if you maybe not seen it, but even if you've seen it, there's a solid chance that if you've seen it from certain bubbles where you get your information, that it's been poisoned with a little bit of bullshit of, oh, this is what happened beforehand, and we're gonna make this headline sound like somebody was in danger that was. So like, I don't off the bat necessarily think people have seen like, oh, definitively this is who was wrong in the situation and this is what happened, and we're not going to sugarcoat it, period. This is what happened. Some people may have not seen it like that, sure,
But also, there's people who don't need to see that, like Black people actually trying to watch the Grammys, you know,
I
that
definitely
sort of
should have been
maybe a family
prefaced with
member where it's
something. I
like,
don't know if they did. I don't want to say that they didn't, but I
like
feel like
I
they
don't
didn't.
know. I didn't
I
watch,
feel
but
like
I'm
they
just saying,
didn't.
like, say, you know, a family member of someone who's been shot and they're tuning into the Grammys and they see that, that's the first thing they fucking see.
For
You
sure.
know what I
And
mean? Like,
that brings
there's
up a
also
good point with
people who
it.
don't need to see this as well.
Yeah, that
You
brings
know,
up a good point with it,
people,
because even if you're an artist that is wanting to do something like that, and even if you're like, because I think he's coming from a good place no matter what, I
yeah,
think
right.
it should be, it definitely should now with where we're at in 2021 with how many pieces of art and pieces of, you know, music and film have depicted that in these ways to do what we're talking about, to get that. I think now there should be, all right, especially like not even if you're going to do it, a disclaimer, but a knowledge of, okay, that angle for us has been like, because I get the approach of speaking to the opposite side to some extent, but you want to speak to your side too and not like make people feel trauma, I guess, you
Mm,
know, if you can do it in
right.
a different way. Because, like I said, like that has been, it's been dramatized in different ways before. But I think doing it at the Grammys, I think it was a one-time thing. I don't think we'll ever see that again. I don't think it's something, even Lil Baby, I don't think it's like a, you know, anything. But I think it was definitely more just one time on the Grammy stage for the people that maybe didn't. But I agree, like there should definitely be some like one prefacing, and with the artist in general, just like knowing who you might be showing it to that could feel like
Yeah.
that about it too.
I can't wait till we get like past this. It's become trendy in my opinion, like with the whole, people on social media, and now you see it blending into the music of like, oh, I have to make a protest song. I have to speak up on this issue. I have to speak up on this issue, and a lot of it just feels forced, right? It doesn't feel like it's not saying it's not coming from a genuine place, and people don't mean well, but a lot of the posts, a lot of the performances, a lot of the protest songs, like how many of these are actually going to be remembered? How many of these moments that people are trying to like capture and like, you know, like pinpoint like, oh, this is how it was. How many of these songs and these moments that people are trying to create, how many of their act are going to be remembered and actually matter down the line? Because a lot of this shit just seems like, oh, I feel like I'm obligated to do this, not because I actually want to do this. That's what a lot of like the music and a lot of the posts, to me, that's what a lot of this shit feels like. Feels forced. That's
Yeah,
just how
no,
I
I
feel.
feel I think there has been a lot of it. You know, Sean King.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a really good example of that, because he
Exactly.
was just trending again because of the same shit, and like he got going because celebrities were basically
Got
looking for
behind
like a
him. Yep.
shortcut, like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
look at, so they contributed to him being lazy as fuck, and
Mm-hmm.
he is just a leech. But it's this
Taking all that money that was supposed to go to the good cause, to raising money for families and
publishing,
foundations,
and
and
like
he's just
even
taking
the
that
way he
shit.
markets himself, like trying to market himself off of, he's just, yeah. But like
Yeah,
that's
a
exactly
lot of it. A
that's what
lot
it
of it. Yeah.
is, yeah. So I agree.
Hmm.
I don't think Lil Baby is
No,
guilty
no,
of
no,
that in
no.
this. Like, yeah, it's just like
And
a weird point to have it
and I
because
and I
his,
like I like Lil Baby a lot. Like I
yeah,
really enjoy his music. I don't think his performance necessarily came from a bad place. Like I didn't care for it. I don't care for that style. Like you're gonna go that route, go, go against the grain, against the establishment, show a policeman getting shot or something. That was what I would want to see. Dramatize that, like you know,
All
the
right,
movie.
Grammys challenge, Grammys. Let's see it.
Yeah, I want to see that on the Grammy stage.
I feel you. I would like to.
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
now this was the first time I felt like since that Kendrick one that there's been a really direct, and that's why I feel like now maybe we can have a pivot point like that where it's like, all right, somebody did that, because when Kendrick did it, when Kendrick did the cop car, like that whole shit, it felt like, all right,
They
somebody
didn't go
told
far enough.
somebody
They didn't go
told that
far enough.
story. Like somebody told that story in terms of just like what this last year, but now who's gonna push it?
I would have liked to see Lil Baby take what Kendrick he was
That's what
fighting, he
I
was
feel like.
coming on cop
He
car
felt like,
and
I
show the
think,
policeman getting shot. Like that's what I would want. That's where I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah, they going doing that at the
I
Grammys.
mean, this
Not
only
showing
this
a
only
black
lifts the
man getting
bar, I
killed on
think.
the Grammys. You know what I
This
mean?
only lifts the bar, I think.
I don't need to see that. I want to see the inverse. That's what I want to see.
That would be,
And
and
if they let that go down at the Grammy stage, hey, you might get a new viewer in me. Like I want to. That's the type of shit I want to see. Personally.
we'll see if they ever
Middle
do that.
America might not be ready, but that's what I want to see personally.
But we can get into performances first. I had that Lil Baby one was definitely the most talked about, or not. I wouldn't even say the most talked about, but the most, at least like politically and socially discussed of everything for the night. The other performance, not even other. There's a couple I'll get into here, but the next performance that deserves some applause and recognition is that WAP performance I mentioned before with Meg and Cardi. That shit was iconic. But since I know you didn't see a lot of the actual performance of this, minus a few things, yeah, they performed on I don't even know how many feet. This bed was a room full long. They performed on a bed like 100 square feet long. They had a giant stiletto. This was my favorite part. A giant stiletto where the heel was a stripper pole,
Oh,
and
nice.
the boot part had a stripper in it with those money machines that blow
Oh
air.
yeah, just money shooting out there. Nice.
That, and then somebody was stripping on so that shit, mwah,
Nice.
mwah. Like when you had, as soon as I saw that, it's just whoever designed this, whoever came up with this whoever said it is my job to take WAP to the Grammys, and they said I got it. We're gonna put a giant stiletto and with a stripper pole heel,
Nice.
and then another and the money machine. You did it. Good job. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Phenomenal. Yeah, the choreo. They can really dance. Like that's the thing. Is like, again, like what are we bringing to the Grammys that like we knew that, yeah, can Cardi and Meg and Cardi was a stripper, but like a lot of the Grammy audience
Absolutely.
isn't the type to go, oh yeah, a stripper can dance. We beg to differ, and I think they now understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the choreo was fire. Like they mixed, bits of this is actual like choreo that you'll have to give me some credit for, and then the shit that was just, like they were scissoring on stage flat out at some point. Like
Oh, nice.
it was phenomenal. So yeah, WAP, another notable performance. So DaBaby also had one of the best performances of the night, which I won't say I was nervous, but I didn't know what the Grammys and DaBaby. I think a lot of people were rooting against him. I don't know why he gets so much hate. I didn't think being part of the Baby bandwagon was going to require defending him so much, but he performed with so he performed Rockstar with Roddy, and because this is the part of the Grammys I love, and I don't know why I know you watch some of these performances after the fact, but like watching these live where you don't know musically, like to these live performances, what some people are gonna bring. Like it's the only place you'll see DaBaby and a live choir of old white people in Supreme Court gowns singing the hook to Rockstar while he's conducting them. That shit is immaculate television. I don't know how you were not trying to turn that on, Trey, because that's what happened.
Yeah. I'm not even a big fan of that song, to be honest with you, but
And I'm not either.
I'm
not either. But I'm the type of person that can hear a live version where it sounds that much better and like that version on its own without even caring. Like that shit live sounded ridiculous. It was literally an old white people choir. I have never seen a choir of specifically old white people gathered before. I don't think ever. That shit was, Trey, why don't we age well? I don't know why we don't age well.
Lotion, man. You gotta
No,
moisturize your skin.
I'm trying. We'll see. I'm the experiment. I'm trying. I've been doing lotion. So
Moisturize,
if I
bro.
start sagging, that didn't
Moisturize.
help.
Get you a good skincare routine
I'm
going, bro.
trying. But yeah, no, he had clearly deliberate, clearly like I mean, he was literally conducting them. He walked to the back while Roddy was singing and had like a little stick, whatever the fucking stick is called, and was conducting them in the, he's performative. That's what I love about him too. He's like
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
actor. So
Yeah,
he
he's
was out there
animated.
singing with them and shit, and just seeing him conducting, they had him dressed literally like Supreme Court justices. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was supposed to represent, but Baby conducting a choir of old white Supreme Court justices at the Grammys was something I didn't know I needed to see. And at the Grammys, seeing it at the Grammys, that shit was cool. I'm a big fan of his. I didn't know what he was going to do with the performance, and that was a nice touch. He also, again, he's a great performer. He can actually
Yeah, he's super animated,
but
like,
even like he can actually rap his shit
stage
live.
presence. Yeah, stage
he
presence. He's
he
got
has
it.
a difficult ass flow to rap live, and he raps every bar live. He does not have a backtrack. Like when I saw him, even he didn't have a backtrack. But the Grammys, that shit's not easy to pull off. I don't think everybody does it. He had a good performance. So seeing him have a performance that like lived up to a Grammy level performance.
I will say this: in the past like 5 years, the new rappers have come out, like a lot of like the top guys who are most popular. They do a lot of that live, like, you know what I
So
mean. That's
that
definitely
he is
becoming
definitely
a
like a
trend.
pinnacle of that,
You know
because
what I
it
mean? Like,
wasn't always like that. There was a
that's what
period
I'm just saying.
where
Like the past, like I'm gonna say like 5 years, like 2016, like those guys who came in, they started, Uzi
yep.
does it,
And I
Gunna
think
Thug, you know what I
it's
mean,
a
like that
combination
type of
of
wave.
it's a good
Baby,
marketing, because this is how the Grammys equals a new audience. Like other, coming and performing can get you an audience flat out. It's just marketing. But also I think it just sticks. If you can perform,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
People
because
can
it takes
respect that.
practice. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
not I think a lot of rappers come up and think like I put in good music and I'm just gonna walk on the stage. Like, no.
Yeah,
Kendrick
it used to be like
Kendrick
that.
was like doing judo fucking training for his stage stuff, even just
Yeah,
like
to
so we
stand there.
understood. So it's an art, like it's its own. And I think they're prepared. I think they're prepared when they launch now, knowing like, all right, if I blow up in the next 6 months, I could be on the Grammys in 2 months. I better know how to, like, you better. And yeah, I think a lot of like Lil Baby too. Lil Baby can
Yeah,
rap
yeah.
his ass off
Yeah,
live. Debate Meg, who we haven't mentioned yet, who was the biggest
yeah.
winner of the rappers that night, is also like a phenomenal. So yeah, it definitely is cool to see these new all three of the biggest like rap performances were new artists. Like DaBaby and Meg were
Yeah,
damn
yeah.
near XX. Were they on the same XXL? Like damn near.
Man, I ain't pay attention
It's
to
just they're just
XXL.
so recently
But
like
yeah, I get what you're
big.
saying. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it was cool to see rap held its own while also not utilizing superstars at the Grammys. So we're in a good spot. Performance wise, that was kind of the highlight for me. The actual awards, just to get into some of them. Uh, I think overall the performances always for me, like the awards always are so much lazier to me that like even the nominations, like to me as a music stickler, as somebody that's like I'm literally right now doing a project where I'm cutting my music library down from shit I've had for 10 years where I'm like, this didn't age well, don't need to be in the rotation. And even then, I'm like, I'll listen to like actual time of a song, and I'm like, if every year you have the ability to say these are the 5 best anythings, like that shit should all be fucking incredible. You can't tell me there's not 5 of every like. And so to see some of these categories and just go, ugh.
What was the album of the year like?
Album of the year was Guess Who? Guess Who? Take a guess, Trey. This one you know. You didn't watch the Grammys, but you know this one.
Male or female?
Female. You know. It's the first one you thought of and went, no.
Definitely white.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm thinking of a person, but I don't remember her releasing anything. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it is Taylor Swift.
I don't remember her
Taylor
releasing no
Swift.
music.
I
Like,
know you don't. Because one, she's the most overrated artist on this planet. She just is. Country music is overrated. Country
she
music is
has, come on,
boring.
like in her prime, she got bangers, bro. The one album. when we was in college. You remember the album? Come on
Yeah,
now.
she's got
She
some
had
fun
bangers.
songs. She's got some
She got some
fun
bangers, bro.
songs.
She do.
Fun songs.
In her
You know who else
prime,
has
she had
fun
some bangers.
songs? You know who else has fun songs? The Wiggles have fun songs. Like, this
Look
is
at the
not,
Wiggles.
she is not this, like, to have seen so much music up close to, and to see like singers that can hit
Well,
varieties
yeah,
of
she's
notes
not.
and
Yeah,
have a
she ain't that.
range.
No,
Like, she is
she's like
not
new
that
age.
talented.
Well,
She's
no.
just
She's
not.
like, you know what she is? She's like new age Britney Spears, right? Britney Spears wasn't that talented, but she was
Britney Spears is way
pretty
more
cute.
talented than Taylor Swift.
She definitely had hits. Can't take it away from him. But
Britney has way more hits than Taylor, first of all. But
I
Taylor
don't know
Swift,
about that.
yes, she does.
Oh
But
man, I don't know,
Taylor
man.
Swift is the epitome of the lazy to me. Like it literally feels like they waited till the last minute and they were like, "Hey, we have to turn in these 5 album of the year nominees," and someone just went,
Oh yeah,
Taylor Swift,
yeah, oh, yeah, for sure,
Coldplay, literally,
for
Coldplay was
sure.
nominated. Like, it's literally a joke at what level of like shit gets, like Post Malone. Like, listen, I root for Post Malone. I do. I think he's a really good guy. One, he seems like a really good guy.
Good guy.
And two, he has been misconstrued as a rapper for like 5. He's not a
Oh come on,
rapper.
man. He came in.
He's like he can sing. He can. I will argue that to the death. That man can sing. He can
He
sing.
know the
Might
note.
not
He
like
know the
it,
note.
but he
He
can
know the
sing.
note. He know the note. Yeah. He
And
know
that's
the
it.
note.
He can play instrument. He loves music. Let the guy, he gets a lot of hate. Did he have the best album of the fucking no? Like, I don't understand some of these, like Coldplay.
Oh, I
Listen,
understand it. They don't necessarily. They're old. They don't really. They're not in the know of new age music
it's
for
just
real.
so
Like they're just gonna
disheartening.
go off name. That's why Nas won best hip hop album off of
Yeah,
name. That's why. Nobody fucking listened to that Nas album.
I know.
Nobody did.
I
Come on. You
know.
gotta listen to it once just to be like, all right,
I
I'll listen to it,
did.
whatever. And that's it. You know, you ain't fucking put
Couple
none of
songs
that on your
stuck.
playlist.
The title track was okay,
I
you
didn't even
know?
listen to it, so I have no idea. But I just know how people process that album
Yeah.
in real life. But on the Grammy stage, it's like, oh, Nas released something. Oh, he's up against a bunch of people we've never heard of. Let's just give him the award. Why not?
And
Off a
and
name
and that's what I'm
alone.
saying
That's it.
is, at least and again, I think we've talked about a lot of things being like slow to realize that social media can like universally call something out. But I think again, slowly we're getting to this point where that's what's happening is like, yo, even down to the nominations. There was like 1 year, I think it was 2 years ago, where even the nominations, you could look and go, they put some time into this. They got some of the right people into the right rooms to say, hey, you might not have heard this, but this might need to go on this list. And you force some people to listen to shit that needed to approve nominations that might not have, and they made it there. And that is what I want to see more of, because the Grammys should be such a great platform for young, great artists. And it's cockblocked a lot of the time by Taylor Swift getting everything. Like that, you should, even if you're a big artist, feel the need to at least put out quality work to get Grammys. And I don't think Taylor
Yeah,
Swift could have farted into a microphone and gotten a Grammy for this goddamn
yeah,
album.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Probably the most popular album of the year. Has some bangers on it. Why wouldn't you think that was gonna win? At the end of the day, the Grammys is about pop music and popular music. You know what I mean? It's not about forward
that's not what they're
thinking and what's the
supposed to
most
be.
influential and what's going to be remembered necessarily. It's about what's going on right now and what was popular in 2015. Taylor Swift was.
Maybe, but it is. But during that process, shit that does last gets to like some Grammy performances you don't remember, period, and some you remember fucking forever. So
Like
it's everywhere in between.
Iggy Azalea was nominated in 2015. You know what I mean?
Like so the laziness through the nominations was definitely apparent. But with all that being said, I think between the process and the like nomination and award process that we all agree, even people in the art community agree, is not correct. Is not the best way to do this and the best way to highlight art and to award things. In between all that, we still get some good moments and some recognition that is
That's why we
deserved,
don't.
just to recap what actually did win, and because some long-term record things happened too, because the biggest thing I think, like in terms of career and whatever, got recognized tonight was Beyonce, who we all love and adore. I don't think there's any debate on that one. Secured, she became the most awarded woman in Grammy's history. So sometimes it lines up with, oh, that's probably where it should stand. That's probably where,
it's like
in music history, if we're there's no rings. If we were gonna say who should have the most, whatever the trophy is, it's probably Beyonce. So it's nice to see her get some recognition.
some are just given. Like, come on, like that's like you don't get credit for that. I mean,
What?
not for Beyonce, but like the Academy doesn't get credit for like nominating.
No.
Like, come on, that's just
No,
a
no,
given.
no. That's not what
Like,
I'm saying. I just like when it lines up.
Yeah, okay.
It makes
I see
my cognitive, makes me less angry about it overall.
Yeah.
Like, all right, good, Beyonce got it. Now all you Taylor Swift fans mad as fuck because they probably are.
No one thinks Taylor Swift is more talented than Beyonce.
You underestimate how many white people there are.
Listen.
You really underestimate how many
no
white
one
people
with a
there are.
straight face. You may like Taylor Swift more than Beyonce, which is fine, cool. There's no way you think she's more talented than Beyonce.
Right.
Like, come on.
There are people you could put on a lie detector test, and they're going to tell you.
I got the first CD up there. throwing that up there.
I'm telling you, you don't believe me. There are some people that you could put on a lie detector, and they will tell you, stone faced, that Taylor Swift is more talented than Beyonce. They will look you in the eyes and say
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
There are people. I'm not one of them. My shit would go off the charts.
No way.
But I'm just saying. So when somebody like Beyonce gets recognized, and it was cool because the award that took her over the top, she got with Meg for the Savage remix, which the Houston connection was right. There was a moment when they came up, like the first thing Meg did, which to see, like, I love Meg. Meg is, since her come up at the not the beginning. I'm not like mixtape Meg, but I've been a fan of her. Last year, she was one of my last pre-pandemic concerts. I paid, I don't even want to reveal how much, to go to the sold out show with me and Keanu, worth every goddamn penny. And because now she's Grammy thrice winning Meg, because she won 3 awards too, but she won with Beyonce. And the one when she came up there with her, like literally the first thing, she just came up and just went, first thing, like, yo, look at this shit. Like, I'm with Beyonce. But Beyonce getting 28 was cool. Meg picked up, she got best new artist, which is cool because whenever a rapper wins that, I'm happy, because another category they're usually snubbed in when they deserve to win. And it's just unusual for a female rapper to win that. So
yeah, I mean, but she was too huge to not,
Which you love seeing the artists that just say you don't have a choice in the matter, and she has been one of those this year, which is why, like, at the end of the show, Billie Eilish won Record of the Year, which is, I guess, one of the biggest. It's like song on steroids. I don't know what record versus song is. Apparently it's a bigger one.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bigger version. But she even was like, Meg had a year that I don't think can be topped, so we just need to recognize that. And that's how the show ended. That's how the Grammys ended, was Meg Thee Stallion. We need to so really cool to see. She's super humble too. Like, you could tell she's genuinely like been hustling, and this is all new to her and shit. So really cool to see. She got best new artist, best rap artist and rap song with that Beyonce Savage remix. Her got an award too, which was cool. Also unexpected, she won Song of the Year, which was a pretty big award, and she was not the biggest artist nominated for I Can't Breathe, which I don't know if you...
No, I didn't.
Great song.
Listen,
again, from her perspective, it's not anything like you think. It's from her perspective, speaking on everything going on and how she feels. She used the analogy.
But I'm gonna tell you why that song won is because people feel obligated to nominate that type of song because of what happened during the summer, the protests with what happened with George Floyd, all of that. People feel obligated to give, like, come on,
maybe,
that's
but
not
we'll take
song of the year. That's not song. It's just not. It's not.
Take it.
It's not.
Again, I think it's about which of these songs of the songs of the year should get a 3-minute speech right now. That's what I think it's about. At the end of the day, is like who deserves this, who not even deserves, because that's what I don't think that's what they ask. I think that's what it should be. Who deserves this platform to speak on something right now? But I think they go, who do we need to look good, need to put on this platform to
There's
speak for 3
a bunch
minutes
of
right now.
white guilt. People feel
Like, oh, we
guilty.
don't piss off the Taylor Swift fans, we'll throw her one. Billie Eilish fans
It's
probably
too
go off if
many.
they don't get something.
It's too many outside and deciding
I
factors when
know,
it goes into
but
what.
I still like when it lines up and see, because you can see to the artist it means something. Like her is up there freaking out, going, "Holy shit, I'm winning a Grammy and getting to make a
But
speech for Song of the Year."
that's not even her best song that came out this year.
So what?
I'm saying, like, it's just
That's why I think it's lazy. That's why I think it's lazy. Because I'll get so where I think it got laziest is she won Song of the Year. The rap album category, the nominations were lazy up front, and then the win is the laziest that was literally the laziest of any in the category. I would have been more satisfied with any of the other albums, with seeing D Smoke come out of nowhere and get a Grammy, with seeing Jay Electronica get a Grammy, with seeing Freddie Gibbs get a Grammy, or what was the other one?
I don't know.
Might have even been Drake, and I would have been okay with that too, because whatever. Like, so to see Nas, this is like his 10th best album.
Right, but he got it off. I think I read somewhere he had never won a Grammy before.
No, yeah, it's his first. So that's what I'm saying is
that's why.
That's cool, but at the same time, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Nomadic didn't get anything.
These albums don't mean anything. I mean, these awards don't mean anything.
At some point, it becomes more about like who
who
hasn't won and who. Yeah. So, but I hate seeing it play out in those categories because, again, like the non-lazy answer for best rap album of the year, especially the nominees, is a completely different list than that. Your list and my list might look different, but we could at least look at each other's lists and probably go, yeah, those are really these. Neither of us would look at these lists and go, yeah, those are even close. Like it was definitely we need to get Nas in there.
Freddie Gibbs' album was fantastic and should have won out of the ones that were nominated.
I would have liked to see the Jay Electronica one, but D Smoke I didn't. It's okay. I really like the album.
I did really like that album.
I like the album. I didn't love it.
Random as fuck. I didn't expect that nomination.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It felt like, oh, who's a young artist that people will go, oh, that's a good young artist that they put in the category, so we can appease them. That's what it felt like.
It was a good album though.
It was. And no hate to him, but like to if we would have seen an artist like talking about how many great young artists we hadn't heard of release an album last year, like to see like Deontay Hitchcock's album nominated.
Fantastic. Even Lil Baby, his album was really good.
Yeah, Lil Baby. Lil Baby did that performance and wasn't nominated for nearly enough. Clearly,
see what I'm saying, and that's why, it's the whole political. Oh, we want to look good. We want to show this side of, the message and that type of music. They didn't really care about his music per se. They just wanted to get that message across. Pretty much is what I'm getting from with her winning it for that song, which I haven't heard, so I can't speak on that song, but give that song of the year. Like, come on, really?
No, it's 100%. But again, it's at the end of the day. Would you rather them now have to concede on these grounds and do shit like this or not? And I vote yes. I vote, you know what? I've watched you refuse for a long time to say shit. So now I like that it's like they're groveling. Like, is it a little corny the way they do it sometimes? Sure. But are they groveling? Fuck yeah. So I'd rather see that than, years you didn't see shit. Like you didn't see mentions
before you at least knew oh, whatever the most popular artist was, their album that released that year is probably going to win it. Wherever the most popular song that came out that year, that's probably going to win Song of the Year, right? Which that's a good bring up a good point to use, right? Because that's a good criteria to use. But now it's switched. Now it's a bunch of white people who want to appear woke and liberal and yada yada yada. Now they're just gonna have all this white guilt and they just want to be like, oh, Black Lives Matter, this protest song, let's give it Song of the Year. Let's give Lil Baby. I think the demand. I don't give a damn about Lil Baby's music, but let's have him show a black man get killed and show this powerful message on our stage.
It's important that it lines up.
That's what people. Now that's what.
No, that's why that's why I think it's important that they get it lined up. That's why I think it's important that they get it lined up, because it doesn't hit as hard when we can break down your nomination process this easily. Yeah. And so if you proved us wrong one day, if the Grammys said, okay, we're gonna get a bunch of Blake and Treys that are on here, and they're gonna actually listen to music in these categories. Like you can keep your white people in the other categories. I don't want to listen to country music.
Yeah.
Let them do that shit. They're doing phenomenal.
Exactly.
Go do whatever.
Exactly.
But like
You know what I mean?
assuming at some point maybe they do that, I think there is something to having the actual awards happening still, but having performances while you actually have like a competitive awards show that the nominations and like you'll have winners debated. You're never going to have winners that everyone's like, yep, that's the one. Right. But if it's closer and we're sitting here debating like, wow, you had a Benny the Butcher album nominated and you had Freddie Gibbs and you had Whatever Appeases Me, and we're kind of like nitpicking and going, man, if any of these win, it's a toss-up. Then I think it's a lot easier to take everything else legitimately. Like, okay, you have a message and you showed you want to support the genre actually, and not just like, hey, look what we're giving
Jump
you.
on the protest wave because it seems forced.
For sure. No, and it's hard to, even if I wanted to, like, I don't know that I want to defend it because I don't know any of these motherfuckers involved with this. I don't know what their plot in all this is, but it's harder even if you want to, if you don't have that, like, hey, we are actually listening. Like you can look at, because at the end of the day, the Grammys are recognized as an awards show. So if the awards part can't be taken seriously, it's a lot harder to then pivot with your performances and make them this monument. They still happen in the Grammys, but I think especially in the hip hop world, like I don't think country and all these other genres are quite as thirsty for recognition. They haven't been suppressed like that. Like when a country artist doesn't win, whatever, country artist, you'll get another fucking one. Like, who cares? Rap artists, you might never be at the fucking Grammys again. That's how it's looked at.
You know, country has their own music, award show, and it's on national TV. It's on, CBS or NBC, one of those.
Hip hop got the BET awards after like recently,
and that's it.
So definitely a big difference. So I think if I think the awards are important, but I do think it's important to get it more lined up. Like I hate having the dissonance of being like, I'd like seeing Nas win his first, like, yeah, that's cool. But like, it would mean so much more if in the history of it, they had gotten it right. And for some reason, someone like that just hadn't, it's like seeing a Dirk win late in his career. Like he just hadn't gotten it to that point and then got it late. No, that's not what happened. You just didn't recognize the earlier shit.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh shit, we can't let him retire without a Gram. Like,
just throw him a bone. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be still asked for in that category, but it's still cool to like recognize and see some of the awards and like the platforms now that'll be given because of, like Meg winning the awards, the performance helped, but her being a 3-time Grammy winner from that night, her streams are going to go up flat. So it'll be nice to see the hip hop community eating from the Grammys. This is not the norm. It's not the norm to walk away and go,
yes, it is, because hip hop is the most popular form of music.
But not from the Grammys.
I said that earlier, but now
especially
it's like,
with the awards.
It can't be ignored now. Yeah. I just wish now going forward, I just want the people voting for these awards to actually listen to fucking music. It's not that hard. That's your job. Just listen to music.
Even people like The Weeknd,
like to know, like
what he's doing is important. I think it's important for like if you put out a piece of music like that, and that's why, again, if we are going to keep the awards and assuming that all stays the same, if you are an artist, especially a prominent artist that has the stage he has performed at the Super Bowl, like you need him more than he needs you. And to have artists like that show like, hey, I put a lot into this, and I get all these things, and there's still some sort of fulfillment that you're taking from me by not doing your job in this. Because that's really what it's about, is he feels like his work is not being recognized because a process is set up to ignore to not give shit to the best work and not award hard work. And that's really like, if your award system is set up to not do that, what the fuck is your award system? So
exactly. And that's where I've always been.
I think they're getting back. I think there are points where they get it right per se, like seeing, the Chance year was cool, like seeing him. So there are times where they do what needs to be done. Like, to me, when the Grammys roll around every year, it's okay. They're gonna happen. It's not we're not gonna get, if they happen this year and last year, they're gonna happen forever.
Yeah.
and if they're gonna happen, and these, the awards, this is where it should go. Like, because I've listened to most of the music. I'm sure a lot of it I haven't heard, but of the shit that's nominated, especially in hip hop, you'd like to see, if we're gonna get this huge stage and if it's all gonna happen, please just pick 5 of, like, seeing like the Macklemore one, I think was where it pinnacled, but like, it shouldn't be that difficult. It's like ridiculous to think that it's hard for a group of humans to come up with 5 great hip hop albums in a month, let alone a year. And that it's such a struggle every year says something about the core, what they got going on in terms of how it gets decided and how
The people who vote on it just don't actually listen to me. I don't even know if they like music like that.
That's,
you know what I mean? Like,
I think the biggest thing is transparency, because even seeing artists, who are these people? Does anybody know who are they? Literally 90-year-old white people?
That's why I don't care about their opinion. I don't know who they are. Why would I care about an award that they voted upon? Like,
I got the Grammys answer. You ready? Live voting, baby. 5-person panel.
Oh, just live vote.
Give me a live vote.
Like American Idol.
Yep. give me a live vote. I want like the dunk contest. Dunk contest. I want signs.
Yeah, American Idol, but just
what's the one? Jeopardy, where you write it down.
Oh yeah.
And they show it on the screen. We need accountability in the Grammy. That would be some shit. Some accountability in the Grammys process. I want 5 motherfuckers speaking for everybody.
That'd be funny.
Let's do it. Yeah, make them diverse. And that would be funny, because you know what? Actually, you would solve your problem of how do we make this be diverse, because I dare them to roll out 5 white guys. I dare them. I dare them to do it in 2021 or 22, whenever my genius idea gets implemented. I dare you to roll out 5 white guys. So, but I think their transparency on it would be nice, because every time this happens, we're just left sitting here going like, how? And nobody has to answer. And even the artists are like, how? Nobody seems to know. And everybody just leaves the Grammys and nothing happens. Like, who are these motherfuckers? So I think I came up with a solution. I would love to see, give me the buzzers too. Somebody's performance is shitty, you can X them off the stage. Bring it, or don't. You get next.
I mean, I prefer my solution to the whole thing, but I think that's too radical. I don't see that happening. But honestly, I think
I might be a little too radical too.
I think that's the best way to go, honestly. But hey, we can dream.
We can. And either way, Grammys, for what they were enjoyable. I like seeing artists, obviously, that we respect and root for and shit get recognized and be able to, like, especially amongst all this shit they haven't been able to perform. I imagine that's probably the best part of a lot of their existences that they would tell you as artists is performing, and they take a lot of that. So I think they got a lot out of it in terms of being able to, like, be not in front of people per se, but just have that stage and platform to do that, because they really haven't this year, especially with the level of, like, shit that they get to do with the Grammys. So that was cool. Other artists, real quick, that did win some shit that's just worth noting. Burna Boy won one. It's kind of cool to see. He won Best World. What did they call it? Global something album. But it was.
See, it's such a weird
categories
title.
They definitely need to do the categories. They need to do a category refresh. Some of these names are like, first of all, a little racist sounding. I think it just didn't
exactly.
sound like a Thundercat got one too. Who else? K Tronada, you know who he is? Producer. Yeah, that album won Best Electronic Album. Brittany Howard, Stay High, won Best Rock Song. Legend won one. Another one where I think they dropped there's so many good R&B albums. So many good R&B albums, and I love John Legend. I think he has Grammys. I don't think he needed one, so I don't think it was especially like.
It's just name, man.
No, that one was outside of the rap one. That one, just because there was so much good R&B. There was that more so to me last year than rap. There was so much good R&B.
Amazing.
I would have loved to see a stage for somebody to do, to.
I'm convinced the people that vote for the music in the Grammys don't like music. I think I'm there. I think they just sort of like, oh, I know who John Legend is. I know who Nas is. Let's just vote.
Yeah, some of
You know what I
them.
mean? Like,
Yeah, that one I didn't love. Kanye won one for Jesus is King, Trey. Best gospel album. Best gospel album.
yeah,
You
they
listen to
don't
all the best
listen.
gospel.
They
That,
don't
that was my
listen to
best
gospel
gospel
music.
album. It's
They
my
don't
favorite
listen to
gospel album of the
music.
year. It was
Yeah.
this Jew's favorite gospel album of the year. So I say it deserves the Grammy.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny got one too. Tiffany Haddish
Bad Bunny.
was the first Black woman since Whoopi to win one for a comedy album. That's worth mentioning. Good for her on that. And obviously, Breaking Barriers is all.
Oh, what was Bad Bunny's awards name? Was it racist?
See, hold on, I got. Here, hold on. Actually,
where best Puerto Rican album goes to. That should be sounding like this.
But I literally have this thing pulled up. Best American Roots song. What the fuck is that?
Like Bad Bunny should have got nominated for best album of the year. Like he's literally the biggest star in music globally right now. I don't even think that's a debate either.
Oh, he won best Latin pop or urban album.
Oh yeah.
Latin pop.
Bad Bunny
1%.
album was huge. Like that should have been nominated for album of the year.
They got a lot of different awards for these.
Yeah, for non-white people. And all the racist categories, the Grammys have come a long way.
Grammys, you got to eliminate some of these categories, y'all. These are not necessary anymore. Like one of these literally says like, oh God, the Roots one is not good. It can't. Your thing can't. Grammys, your awards can't have the word Roots in it. I'm taking Roots. It's not good. There's no category that award should probably be used for. It's not. It doesn't sound good.
Poor choice of word. I know where they were.
Especially with American. American Roots aren't good. That should never be a phrase.
Yeah.
In good things.
I understand that type of music though that they're trying to say, but just say like bluegrass or like blues.
Yeah, American Roots has an extra racist crunch to it. I don't know if they mean, but it's there. It's 100% there.
Come on now.
But besides that, overall, I enjoyed the show. I like seeing everybody get recognized and shit. And I think performances are usually the highlight of it. And there were some great ones this year. So overall, given what they are, given that we don't get to make our own Grammys quite yet, I would say it was a good show, especially during the pandemic and shit, getting to see all that, getting to see performances for the first time in a minute on TV and shit. But yeah, no, you need to check those out. And anybody else who has not checked out those performances, worth noting. And you ain't got shit else to do, so go watch that shit, y'all.